What up, what up? It's Grant with an absolutely transformational video here. This is going to be so massively important. This is exactly how to meditate, how I think about meditation, and how to use this in your own life. Because meditation is one of those absolutely mandatory skills that you have to incorporate if you want your life to get better. And here's the reason why. Because your thoughts control your life, okay? And if you can control your thoughts, you can control your life. And this is so massively important. So we got to wake you up and stop letting you be an NPC wandering around with no direction, right? And this is so massively important. So let's jump right in here. Now, let's start with this. And this is a quote from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Google Power of Now book. I highly recommend you read that because that was what basically started me on my spiritual journey. Essentially what he's doing is he's taking Buddhist principles from Buddhism, which is thousands and thousands of years old, and he's saying it in a way that makes sense to you. So I'd highly recommend that book. Let's jump in. So here we go. To realize that you are not your thoughts is when you begin to awaken spiritually. What does that mean? This means that the biggest error that you can face as a human is you identifying with your negative thoughts. Now here's the crazy part. You're not your thoughts, okay? You're a soul. You're a being, and you have thoughts that hit you, okay? So this is very important to discern, because a lot of people, when they go wrong, they identify with their thoughts, right? So your brain, it always has thoughts going 100% of the time. So it's like a river, right? Look at right here. It's like a river. I hate myself. I'm stupid. I'm depressed. Your brain is just going to throw these things at you all the time. But here's the thing. You're not your thoughts, right? You're the person that is looking at your thoughts. You're the soul that is looking at your thoughts. There's a distance here, right? So you can actually sit back a little bit and look at the thoughts that go across your body. I hate myself. I'm stupid. I'm not good enough. I'm an idiot. I can't do this. And you can look at these and be like, I don't want to think those anymore. Those aren't me. Those are definitely not me. Those are my thoughts running across in front of me. Okay? So that's the most important part. Because what happens, and this is a huge mistake that everybody makes, is these thoughts go across their body and they say, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I can't do this, I can't do that. And they identify with them. So they think that that is them. So when that thought goes, I'm stupid, they're like, oh my God, I'm stupid as a person, right? But they don't realize it's not them. It's just a thought. So you have to separate yourself from these thoughts. And once you can create that distance and you realize that every thought isn't you, it's just a thought, then you start to take control of your life because you realize that you are in full control. You are in the driver's seat of your own life. And I'm getting goosebumps just telling you this. So here's what happens. You have a river, right? This is a river of thoughts that suck. I hate myself. I'm stupid. I'm depressed. And right now, you might not even be aware that these thoughts are going, right? Because awareness has to be built like a muscle, okay? So awareness is just like when you go to the gym, right? When you go to the gym at first, you can't bench 3 plates. You can't bench 300 pounds because you haven't done it before. But if you stay in the gym for 10 years, you'll probably get to the point where you're very strong. Does that make sense? So you get progressively stronger. In the same way, when you go spearfishing, right? There's all these fish swimming around in the ocean. You have a spear and you're like, and you got to spear it on the spot, right? You get really accurate. So at first, you might not even be able to see the fish. You're like, where the hell's the fish? I don't even know. And you're just kind of blindly stabbing. But then over time, you get to see patterns. And you're like, okay, there's a shadow there. I know there's a fish there. There it is. And you stab the fish, right? So you get a lot better at it. Meditation is the exact same way, but it's in your mind. So right now, you might not be able to see your thoughts. So a lot of people, they say, I don't have an inner voice. Everybody has an inner voice, but not everybody can see that inner voice. Because to be able to see that inner voice, that's a skill that you have to develop and build. Does that make sense? And that's what meditation is. Meditation is the skill of being able to see your thoughts and become aware of your thoughts. Because right now, it's below your awareness. So there's a whole universe of things you're not even aware of that you can actually build your awareness to see, right? There's people that can see things and have sight that other people can't. How did they get to this point? Through meditation, through learning how to control their focus. It's a skill that you can build, okay? Now, a lot of people are like, Rand, I can't do that. I have ADHD. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. ADHD does not exist, okay? All ADHD is, it's an untrained mind. okay? Because if your thoughts are going everywhere, everybody's thoughts go everywhere. My thoughts go everywhere. But how come I can actually stay focused when my thoughts are going crazy just like yours? Because I've trained my mind. Does that make sense? I can become aware of those thoughts and say no. And I can quiet my mind by pure willpower and pure skill because I've trained it for so long. And this is exactly how you train it. So once you realize that you're not your thoughts and you create that separation, now you start really building the skill of being able to see the thought right when it comes up. You can cut it out and then get rid of it. Here's an example. You might have a test or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm going to fail the test. I think I'm going to fail the test, right? And you feel really anxious about it. A lot of people, they call it generalized anxiety because these people are anxious, but they don't know why. Well, guess why they don't know why? Because they can't see their thoughts. They haven't meditated. It's an untrained mind. Because once you meditate, here's what happens. You get anxious and you know exactly what thought is creating that. And you're like, oh, I'm telling myself that I'm going to fail the test and nobody's going to like me. But what's subconscious to so many people can become conscious to you. You start taking control of your life. This is so massively powerful. I cannot understate this. This is the key to life, I swear to God. So how do you start training this skill? You start practicing. And you start practicing by the act of meditating. Now, here's an exact meditation that you can do that's gonna help you get this skill. So seeing the thoughts and catching them is built through meditation. So here's where we want to get you, right? And your life is going to become a meditation eventually. Your life will literally become a meditation. So right now, my life is a meditation. What does that mean? This means that my default awareness is aware. And so anytime a thought starts, I can catch it right away. I can catch it the second it takes hold. I can feel the energy in my body that it's doing to me. And I can say, oh, I don't want this thought. I shoo it away, right? The Buddhists call this wiping the mirror. Okay, so just like a mirror accumulates dust every day and you have to wipe it off to get it clear, the same happens with your thoughts and your emotions, because you're gonna have a very clear mirror when you start meditating a lot, and then thoughts are gonna come in like, oh, I hate myself, or oh, I don't want to do this, and the moment they start doing that, you can wipe the mirror right when the dust settles, because too many people, they have literally a lifetime of dust. They have months of dust, weeks of dust, a lifetime of dust, literally a lifetime of dust. So they have the mirror here, and it's literally just so much dust they don't even know what to do. And all that dust is negative thoughts and very dense energy. And this is when you start getting health issues because your body can't handle all this stress and this dark energy. So that person with a lifetime of dust, they have to do so much removing that it's crazy, right? But you're not in that position yet. You might just have a little dust. So when you start meditating, you can wipe it all off, you can clear it, and then start from a good base. So when I say your life becomes a meditation, here's what I mean. You're going to have an absolutely clear mirror, because at first, right, when you start meditating, you're going to have a ton of dust on your mirror. It's going to be disgusting. Okay, so you have to be like, ew, gonna wipe this away. Oh God, gonna wipe this away. Oh, here's some trauma, gonna wipe this away. Oh, here's some negative thoughts, gonna wipe that away. Oh, some bad beliefs that I don't think I can do anything in my life, gonna wipe that away. And eventually you get to a clear mirror, right? Now, once you have the clear mirror, every time a thought comes in, you can catch it right away. Like, you're gonna have a test and you're gonna be like, oh, I think I'm gonna fail. And then you're like, oh, I caught that right away. No, thank you. And you're back to a clear mirror. Does that make sense? So here's how you do it. You're gonna sit down in your house, right? And you're gonna count to 10, okay? Literally like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 10. Now, here's what you're gonna realize. Because of social media, because of quick dopamine, your mind is way more messed up than you're even aware of. So you might not even be able to freaking see things in your mind right now, and that's totally okay. So, excuse me. So basically, you're gonna picture the numbers in your mind, okay? For some reason, when I do it, it's birthday candles. So I'm like 1, 2, I'm picturing the numbers and birthday candles in my mind. Now here's what's crazy. You're gonna realize that you probably can't even get to 10 without your mind drifting away. You're gonna be like 1, 2, 3, oh man, I have that test. Oh man, I gotta do that thing. Oh man, I gotta text that girl. Your mind's gonna drift away, and then you're actually gonna forget that you were even counting. You're gonna be like 1, 2, 3, oh God. And then you're gonna start texting somebody, and then that's gonna take you to something else, and then you're gonna get hungry, and then you're gonna go start cooking eggs, right? And then you're gonna be cooking your eggs, and then you're gonna be like literally mid-cooking of the eggs, and then you're gonna be like, oh my God, I was counting and now I'm cooking eggs. I just went on autopilot for like 7 minutes. And then here's what you do. You stop cooking the eggs, and then you don't judge yourself or bash yourself. You go sit back down and you keep counting to 10 again, okay? Now the goal should be to get to about 100. If you can get to 100 without any distractions in your mind or becoming aware of those distractions, you'll have enough focus to change your life, if that makes sense. So here's what happens. You start counting to 10. 1, 2, 3. Other thoughts are going to come into your mind, okay? Understand, this is the dust on the mirror. You have to wipe it away. So how do you wipe it away? This is what you do. So when a thought comes in, all you want to do is become aware of it. So you're like, oh, I got to text Becky. All you have to be like is, oh, I saw myself thinking that thought. That's awesome. And then when you notice that, you gently bring your mind back to counting. So you forgive yourself and say, this thought isn't important right now. I'm going to worry about this in 30 minutes. And you go ground yourself and you bring yourself back to counting. So here's what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, my knee is really itchy. Oh, God, I got an itchy knee. Oh, my God, I stopped counting because my knee was itching. Okay, I'm going to worry about that later. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, my God, I got to text James. Oh, we got to do that business deal. I got to text James. Oh my God, I almost texted James. I got to keep counting again. Okay, well, I caught myself. That's good. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Can you see that? So every time the thought comes into play, you're catching it right away, and then you are bringing yourself back to counting. And you're not beating yourself up, because understand, this is the process. This is how meditation works. People are like, I can't do it. My thoughts are crazy. It's like, well, obviously, that's how everybody starts. Does that make sense? So that's how it is. That's the game. Now, what you're going to realize too is that a lot of the time you're going to start counting 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to get caught up in your thought. You're going to get whisked away in your thought like a spell. So you're going to be like, oh my God, I got to text James. And you're going to text him and do all this stuff. And then you're going to like completely forget about counting because you're in your thought mode. And you're going to be, because you're in the thought itself, right? And then you're going to be like, oh my God, I got to do this. And then literally you'll go do something else. So like you'll be texting James and you're like, oh God, I got to do this right now. And then you're doing something else. And then while you're doing that other thing, you're going to remember that you were supposed to be counting. And the moment that you remember that you're supposed to be counting, you've snapped yourself out of autopilot. So you just went on autopilot for like 2, 3, 4 minutes. Now, here's the crazy part. People spend their entire lives in autopilot. Genuinely. The average person spends their whole life in autopilot, okay? It's only a select few people that become aware of their thoughts and they live presently, okay? Now, what do we mean when we talk about living presently? This means we're living in the moment. We're living in the now. Because think about this. Nothing has happened in the past. It's only happened in the now. Nothing will ever happen in the future. It will only happen in the now. Now think about your life, right? Think about that birthday party you had 2 years ago. Did that happen in the past? No, because when you had your birthday party, you were experiencing it in the now. You're like, oh, everyone's here at my birthday. It's awesome. You were in the now, okay? Now think about the things you worry about in the future. Has anything ever happened in the future? No, it's in your mind, because when the future comes, it comes in the form of the now. You're experiencing it in the now. So all your life is right here and now. And all the peace and love and happiness that you're seeking is right here in the now. All the focus that you want in your life is right here in the now. Everything you want is directly right here in the now. My light died for some reason. Not sure why the light died. So let me make sure I can still see myself. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so everything you want is in the now. Now think about this. All negativity is caused by an accumulation of psychological time and a denial of the present. Unease, anxiety, tension, stress, worry, every form of fear, they're caused by too much future and not enough presence. So if you're anxious, if you're worried, if you're stressed, it's because you're freaking out about a future that doesn't exist. All you have is right now. So you're worried about the future. Now let's go the other way. Guilt, regret, resentment, grievances, sadness, bitterness, non-forgiveness, those are caused by too much past and not enough presence. So if you're guilty, if you're regretful, if you're resentment, it's because you're thinking about the past. So you're not in the now. Okay? You need to, and then when you start doing this meditation, you will start resting your conscious in the now, right? So a lot of people have generalized anxiety disorder. What does that mean? It means their focus is completely on the future. It doesn't exist. They're in dreamland. It's a completely made up future that they're worrying about. right? So they're stuck there because that's where their presence, their awareness sits. Does that make sense? And people that are guilty, resentful, sad, or bitter, or depressed, it's because they're stuck in the past. So their base focus, right? Because we have what's called a reticular activation system, and that's just where your focus lies on a daily basis. Theirs is stuck in the past, and it just goes on repeat, right? Because your mind just does its own thing. It has thoughts that aren't yours. It just does its own thing. So in the same way, when you start doing this meditation, you're going to learn how to rest your focus and your awareness in the present moment, okay? And then when you learn how to sit and rest in the present moment, it's awesome. Because what that does for you is you get a vision that not a lot of people have. Your natural pattern recognition systems start to kick in, and you start becoming aware of things that you were never normally aware of. Does that make sense? So it's extremely powerful. So if you get anything out of this video, understand this. Number one, you're not your thoughts. Your brain has thoughts that are not you. So stop identifying with your thoughts. Number two, you have to rest your rest your awareness in the present moment, and you can learn how to do this through meditation. Okay? Now, meditation is a controlling of the focus, like I just mentioned. And once you start training your muscle more and more and more, and your vision starts increasing more and more and more, and you can start seeing these thoughts as they go by, you're going to have an amazing life. Because the moment a bad thought hits you, you're going to realize, oh my God, this thought sucks. And then you're going to literally just be like, nah, don't want to deal with it. And then live an amazing life, okay? So understand that you're completely in control of your mind. If you can practice this meditation, you're going to have an amazing life if you actually implement this. And if you have any questions, DM me or whatever. Deuces.